Good day, parents and guardians, and welcome to our Parent Information presentation for 2021. Firstly, a big welcome to Springfield Senior School. This certainly isn't the way we would have expected to start the year, but nonetheless, we've begun. Your daughters have spent the last week, or at least part thereof, in a program of orientation. The purpose of this presentation is to give you some inside information that they have gained over the last 8 days. Firstly, let me introduce you to the management team. On the left, you can see Mrs. Penny Mullen, the head of our school. Then we see Mrs. Bronwyn Jansen and myself, Mr. Jeff Gwynn, who are the deputy principals of the senior school. On the right is Mr. David Fick, head of academics, and underneath Mrs. Gillian Stubbs, the head of RE in both the senior and the junior school. The heart of every school is the front office, and the two wonderful secretaries seen here, Miss Leslie Ann DeVette and Mrs. Nikki Lewis, are the secretaries in our office who will always be willing to help you and to guide you in the right direction, parents or pupils. Our house system is the core of our pastoral system. There are 3 houses and each are headed by 2 coordinators. These teachers monitor the well-being and the progress of the girls in their house. The Connect system, which I will speak about shortly, works within the house system. Seen here are the 2 heads of Dominic House, Mrs. Pippa Fisser and Mrs. Nikki Hughes. Next we can see the heads of the Mackey House, Mrs. Kirsty Tromp and Mrs. Mtandazo Ndlebe. And finally, the 2 coordinators for Thomas House, Mrs. Kate Zimmerman and Mrs. Sarah Book. Connect groups offer pupils the opportunity, as the name suggests, to connect with the girls in the school who they might not normally have contact with. For the younger girls, the older pupils can give them guidance and support and someone to look up to. For our senior pupils, it offers the opportunity to develop mentoring and leadership skills. The Connect groups are your daughter's family at school. Each group consists of girls from each grade, from grades 8 to 12, and each group has a Connect teacher who can be your first port of call if there are any queries that you have regarding what's happening at school. They meet each morning for 10 minutes, and at different times throughout the year, they meet for longer periods of time to discuss issues of the day or just to interact. The counselling department met with the girls during orientation, and they talked to them about what they offer and how to access their services. They also took the opportunity to unpack what starting high school feels like. I'm told words such as scary and lost came up, but it was also important to note that most people feel that way. And so when you're at school and feeling that way, you're not alone. And there are many people to help you at every level. Your peers in your Connect group, your teachers, and the counsellors, of course. There are 2 counsellors in our department, Mrs. Hilda Catito and Mrs. Rosa Kraus. They offer one-to-one sessions where they deal with issues such as trauma, anxiety, trouble with friendship groups, and so on. And they can be contacted by parents directly or through the secretaries in the front office. Let's have a look at the times of the day. The starting time for school every day is at 8 o'clock, and on Monday to Thursday we finish at 3 o'clock. On Friday we finish at 2:20. If possible, we ask that you pick up and drop off your daughters on St John's Road. This helps reduce congestion in the car park. If your daughter needs to wait late after school, she can wait in the library, do some work or interact with friends, and thereafter in the accounting room, which is just adjacent to the main car park. There are occasions throughout the year where the school day ends at different times, such as on sports days, feast days, during exam time, and at the end of term. We will strive to give you as much notice as possible when these days occur. There are a number of different ways that you'll receive communication from the school, but your first port of call should always be your daughter. She should be aware of the day-to-day events that are occurring at school. The different ways that you may receive information are through the Adana Parent Portal. You may receive an email from the school, and every 2 weeks you have an opportunity to read the newsletter, which tells us about all the things that have happened and are about to happen in our school community. The girls will receive information via their own pupil email and through messages on the Google Classroom. The senior school calendar can be accessed on the school website, and each pupil has been shown how to access it during our IT orientation. It details important whole school events such as masses, inter-house events, school plays, and so on, and also grade-specific events such as retreat, LO days. You can also find details of sports and cultural activities on the senior school calendar. Let's have a look at the timetable. The first part of our day from 8 to 8:40 is specific to each day of the week. For example, there's an assembly every Wednesday following our Connect periods. From 8:40 onwards, lessons according to the cycle day begin. Friday is an exception, of course, where the day starts with lessons from 8 o'clock and finishes at 14:20. The timetable is broken up into 5 cycle days. This is what the girls see on their own personal timetable. These days are numbered 1 to 5. These cycle days can occur on any day of the week. The 27th of January this year was day 1 of the cycle. On this day, pupils would follow day 1 on their own personal timetable. The following day, the 28th of January, was day 2, and the pattern has continued as the term proceeds. However, there are days when the academic timetable is suspended for various reasons. These alternative timetable days may be to facilitate masses or feast days or sports galas, or they may be in place so as to have different ways of presenting our educational offerings, such as LO Island days. As such, the days of the week, Monday to Friday, and the cycle days, days 1 to 5, are not always the same. It's important for pupils always to check which cycle day is being followed on any given day of the week. Your daughters have a range of subjects each week, as you can see on this slide. It's important for them to use their timetable to plan each day and only pack what is required. This will help prevent them from having to lug a heavy bag containing all their books around with them each and every day. A little bit about assessment and reporting. Assessment in a high school comes in many forms. There's informal assessment, and that happens every day during lessons. It might take the form of a question and answer session or a discussion. It might just be a personal discussion with the teacher. Sometimes informal assessment is a bit more structured and might take the form of a quiz or a comprehension activity. Generally, marks for these are not recorded. More formal assessments take the form of tests, projects, essays, and exams. Formal assessments can be found on the workload calendar. Again, your daughter has been shown how to access this calendar during our IT orientation. Reports will go home at the end of each term, and formal parent-teacher meetings take place during the year. The Code of Conduct is a guideline on how pupils should conduct themselves while at school. It offers guidance around the application of some of the rules and regulations that guide our day-to-day interactions on campus. Specific regulations in areas such as attendance, punctuality, uniform and behaviour can be found in this document, as well as the sanctions that are in place for those who don't adhere to the code. While the Code of Conduct has many essential rules and regulations, it's underpinned by a statement that each person in our community should do their best to uphold the same common values. The values that we want our members of the school community to have are truth, which is our motto Veritas, respect and compassion for others. There are, of course, times when our members of our community will struggle to uphold these values. It's important to remember that our school is a learning environment where we strive for inclusivity. There's absolutely no place for bullying or discrimination of any form. In our orientation sessions this week, we've unpacked what this means with the grade 8 pupils, and we encourage you as parents to have a discussion with your daughters about what they took away from these sessions. It's important to note that during these sessions this week, the pupils were also given guidance as to what to do if they feel that the values that we strive to uphold have in some way been compromised, or if they have experienced bullying or discrimination in any form. They were asked to talk to each other as young adults, but when talking, to remember empathy and respect. If their situation is not resolved through talking, then they are asked to seek mediation and help from staff or the counselling staff. The pupils are encouraged not to counteract disrespect with any more disrespect, or to stand by if they think anybody is being disrespectful or not following the values that we all share. We have a very smart and modern uniform here at Springfield, and the details of how to wear our uniform are outlined in the Code of Conduct and can also be found in the orientation booklet. We ask parents to support us, encouraging the girls to wear their uniform correctly and with pride. Communication using electronic devices has become part and parcel of daily life. The same could be said for life at Springfield. We communicate electronically all the time, and a great deal of resources in class are shared using apps such as the Google Classroom. Cell phone and device use is subject, like anything, to the Code of Conduct. And as with any actions at school, it should be done respectfully and with responsibility. At a classroom level, the use of devices is always at the discretion of the teacher. As parents, we ask you to discuss device use with your daughters. Look at phone downtime, WhatsApp groups and their impact on your life, and how girls use social media. We do, of course, cover this in LO lessons during the years at school, but the conversations at home are all important. Here's a picture of the front of this year's orientation booklet. Each pupil has received an electronic copy of this booklet. It was prepared by the matric pupils and has information for the girls, from the girls. It contains advice, information on school leaders and school procedures, and those all-important maps of the school. There are a myriad of extramural choices at Springfield. While they are not compulsory, we do encourage each grade 8 pupil to sign up to at least one group. It is in these activities that pupils are able to find others who share the same likes as they do, and they often form sound friendships through these activities. Some extramurals have been curtailed due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but next week the girls will have the opportunity to attend an extramural fair where they'll be able to learn about and sign up for some of the many activities that we are offering at the moment and some that we will offer as the year goes forward. Lastly, I'd like to introduce you to two more important staff members who work closely with the extramural program. Mrs. Colleen Reid is our head of sport and deals with all things sport, and Mr. Andrew Bentley is our head of music and he deals with all cultural extramurals. We hope this presentation has given you some more insight into the way Springfield Senior School operates. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to contact the secretaries in the front office, your Daughters Connect teacher, or any of the staff that you've seen in the presentation. Thank you.